We're gonna start out with the FDA. Do you want to go first on that one, or do you want me to go first? Or, I mean, I could start out with
Uh,
the rant and you could give the details. I think
that's
he and I
perfect.
both very much agree on this subject a lot. It's one of our bitch piles we get into.
Yeah. So the FDA and just regulation in general, that was kind of why I brought up the FDA as the subject, is why regulation is so unnecessary. The idea that you think you need regulation is just silly. Um, there's a lot of most of the time the regulations that they enforce are usually causing more problems than what they're really solving. Like, for example, the thing I always talk about is going to be the EpiPen epidemic that we had a couple of years back now, where the price of the EpiPen went outrageously high because you have some douchebag in the corporate office deciding that he needs to make more money. Well, do you know why that was a big issue? Because there was no competition for the EpiPen. If this was any other product, if this was Cheez-Its now charging, $50 per box, and then they have the Great Value one over there for $2. Well, guess who the fuck is going to go out of business because everyone bought Great Value? That's how this works. Competition prevents that thing from happening. So, due to the regulations that were in place, EpiPen was able to do basically something that was ethically criminal. And yeah, just regulations in general. It's just a bad idea. Like, you're an adult or an individual, you should be able to regulate yourself.
Not, not
You
to
shouldn't have
mention,
someone. You shouldn't have someone in a office in another state determining what you can and cannot do with yourself.
that is exactly true. And that was kind of along the lines of what I was going to bring up because I was like, not to mention a lot of states already have their own FDAs. And I don't really, in a lot of cases, I'm not really seeing a real need for two, especially if one can cater specifically to the area and keep up with each area. I really don't see why they can't talk to each other. It doesn't make any sense, you know? We don't
Yeah.
actually need a federal FDA to keep everybody talking. We can just arrange
Now
communication
that
to deal
that's
with it if we need to.
that's an important point. Is I don't believe in federal regulation. I think local regulation is something that's viable if you really have to, but it
Yeah,
should be on a local level. That's the only way you can really do regulations. If you're
it
talking
has
about
to
gun
be, it needs to be
regulations,
small. Well,
yeah, if
on
you're
a
talking about
small.
gun regulations and you're in Chicago, yeah, you probably less of a reason to have guns there. And if you guys want to all vote that way to not have guns in your city, that's fine. That's on you. But if I'm out in fucking Maine and the primary way that my family's been providing for our children for the past 200 years is through whatever animals they have up in Maine, then I
Lobsters.
kind of need a gun.
Oh, wait, that
And
doesn't
even
fit
then,
with guns.
yeah.
You
Well, I
shouldn't
mean,
kill a
fuck,
lobster with the gun. I didn't know where he was going here on that. Sorry.
whatever the fuck you got to do.
Fucking
But
lobsters. They're vicious.
even then, we'll get into gun rights later. That's a whole other thing. You can do outrage culture before I get angry.